What's up, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
How's it going? Hey.
So.
I know.
Yeah,
it's been long.
It's been a long time.
But we've been going through some things this past month and a half, 2 months or so. As you can see, this old beautiful chocolate drop right here. Well, she's not chocolate.
I was about to say, don't even play.
She's like a
you call me light skin all the time.
Caramelish, mocha, light skin.
Anyway, as you can see,
yes,
I'm bald headed.
We're twins.
Twinsies. But it's not by choice. In last month, we found out that I have breast cancer. Yep. So, a lot of people have been asking me, since I am only 36, a lot of people have been asking, you know, how did you find it? Like, what symptoms did you have? Like, what prompted you to go, you know, and get a mammogram? Or what prompted you to go and talk to the doctor? And so, I figured, why not come to YouTube, tell everybody all at the same time, and invite you guys into our journey, because it will be a journey.
Yes.
But first, let me start with, if you haven't done so already, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and ding the bell over to the side. We will be posting more often, however, we're kind of taking a detour because life just handed us a detour.
Absolutely.
And so we will be vlogging the journey that we are currently on dealing with my breast cancer. So let's get started. It was, I want to say it was one day in the last week of March. And he and I were laying on the couch, normal night, the kids were upstairs, kids were in bed. We were in quarantine by this time.
Yes.
And so it was rather late. We hadn't put the kids to bed till about 11 o'clock. So we were downstairs and we were watching a movie or a TV show or something. We were watching something. And I just so happened to roll over to get comfortable on the couch. And my left breast started to hurt really bad. And I was like, wow, what the heck? Like, what is that? Didn't really think much of it, but then I rolled over again and it hurt even more. And so then I began to feel around to see, you know, what it was. And I felt this really hard, can you call it a knot?
Sure. Like
a really hard knot. And it was rather big. It was a really hard spot. And I was like, well, that's weird. So we married, right? So I was like, baby, feel right here. And I was like, feel that. Do you feel that? He was like, what the heck? He was like, what is that? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, but it hurts. And so, long story short, I really didn't think much of it. I was like, yeah, whatever, you know. And so we went to bed that night, and that next morning I woke up and it was very sore, very painful. And so I was like, well, let me just email my doctor, you know, because they weren't letting people in the hospitals, you know, unless you had, you know, the COVID. Right. And so I was like, well, let me just email her. So I emailed her. Within about 5 or 10 minutes, she had called me, and the first words out of her mouth were, you can't send me an email like that. I need to see you. And so I was like, okay. I'm like, are they gonna let me in? She was like, yeah, they'll let you in. So I went in that day, actually maybe a few hours later, I went in and she measured it. She felt around, she felt it herself. She measured it width and height-wise, and she recommended that I go and get a mammogram and a ultrasound. All right, that was March. I'm 36. They didn't really think it was that, serious, that important, because I did not have my mammogram or my ultrasound appointment until May 12th? 11th? The day after Mother's Day is when I had my mammogram and my ultrasound. So we go, and the mammogram went fine. Side note, they hurt. It's like they abuse the breast. They smash it in these weird ways. And then you gotta put like your arm, it's very weird. It's very weird and very uncomfortable. Anyway, they did the mammogram part, and then I went for my ultrasound. I had both appointments the same day, right after each other. So I went for my ultrasound. Halfway through my ultrasound, the ultrasound tech leaves the room. She goes to get the radiologist. The radiologist comes in, he's looking, and then they're like, okay, we need you to come back tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I coming back tomorrow for? She's like, we need to do biopsies, 2 of them. They did a left breast biopsy and a left axillary lymph node biopsy. Then they told me I needed to come back Friday as well because I had to do a stereotactic mammogram a stereotactic mammography biopsy. Now, put mammogram and biopsy. Very weird test. First you lay face down on the table and your breasts hang through a hole. Your breasts hang through a hole in the table. And so the ultrasound machine is under the table. And so they squeeze your boob from underneath the table. And then they took these ginormous needles and they numbed it. Didn't really numb like all the way, because you still kind of felt it. And then whoop, I'll explain those in another video. But I went back Friday for the stereotactic mammogram, and we had the weekend. We had a normal weekend. Friday, no, not even Friday, because I was kind of recovering from the stereotactic mammogram. Saturday and Sunday, we had a normal weekend. Monday, we got the call that said all 3 of the biopsies came back positive for breast cancer. And so that was Monday morning around 9 o'clock in the morning. And life has yet to slow down since that day. Tuesday, we had 2 appointments. I had a CT scan, and then I had a MUGA, which is a heart scan. Wednesday, we had to go to Riverside because I had to meet oncology. Thursday, I had a bone scan. And then Friday, I had a day off. We had a pretty decent weekend. We told our parents. We had not yet told our children because the following week was our oldest birthday. And we didn't want to tell her before her birthday. So we ended up telling her after her birthday. She took it pretty well. She asked quite a bit of questions, trying to understand, which was, good. And so then that following week, the day after Memorial Day, I ended up going to, I had surgery. They put a port in my chest because that's where they will administer all of my chemo treatments through my port because I have really bad veins, really bad veins. So we did the port surgery. I had about 5 days to recover, and then that following Monday, we started chemo. And that brings us to where we're at now, getting ready to go to chemo tomorrow. And so that is the long story short version of why I'm bald-headed. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But that is the long story short version of how we found out that I have cancer. And yeah, it's a lot, but you know, as his shirt say, we got this. We definitely got this. Have I broke down and cried? Yes. Have I been angry? Yes. Have I been questioning what is going on? Yes. But do I have faith? Yes. Do I see myself coming out on the other side of this? Yes. Do I see the brighter side of things, bypassing the darker days? Because I know there are going to be some days where it'll be hard. I've had a few. And so I know they exist. I know they'll be there. But I also know that God has me. And as hard as it may be, we got this. We got this. We got this. We got this.
So coming into this, one thing that I wanted her to be sure of is that she had me 110%. Be it that now we are on lockdown in a sense from the COVID-19 thing going on, was almost a prime opportunity in a sense for God to begin to use us, if I can say that, for God to begin to use this situation for a testimony on the other side, because I'm here. I'm able to deal with the kids. I'm able to cook dinner. I'm able to run the errands. I'm able to take care of whatever she needs done. I'm here. I don't have to take off of work because I work for the school district. So because the school district's closed, here I am. And so this was, and I say prime opportunity for God to use us in this situation, because I believe that's exactly what it is. God is using us so that when the other side comes, she's going to have a great testimony to be able to give to somebody else that's going to go through, for somebody else that's going to come up on this. She did a genetics test. There's nothing that shows that it's genetic. There's nothing that shows that somebody previously had it or somebody after her is going to get it. It's almost as if it kind of just
appeared,
popped up
out of nowhere.
And so when I think of that, I think of the story of the blind man in the Bible, and everybody was wondering, well, what happened? How did this happen to the blind guy? Who sinned? Father, the parents, what was going on? And Jesus simply responded, nobody did anything wrong. This was simply for God's glory. And so when I look at this situation, this is exactly kind of what I see it as. This situation came upon us simply because it is for God's glory. And in the end, He's going to get the glory. You'll be able to see throughout our journey. That's what we love to do. Is we love to worship. We love to give God the praise. So while there are going to be difficult days and there are going to be hard times, God still deserves everything that we are supposed to give Him. And so nothing falls short of him being worthy of that. And so I just try and remind her and keep her in the mindset of, in the end, God's gonna get the glory. As long as we remember that and know that He's holding on to her, everything else is gonna be all right and it'll fall into place.
Amen. So do us a favor, look out for Chemo Confessions. Chemo Confessions is something that I'm going to do that basically gives you a little insight as to the struggle of breast cancer, as to the busyness of breast cancer, the good days, the bad days. So look out for our Chemo Confessions. Also, ladies, please, it does not matter how old you are. Check yourself. Do your monthly checks. Don't wait. Because by the grace of God, we found it before it spread to my bones, my brain, or my stomach? My liver?
Brains, lungs.
By the grace of God, we found it before it spread to my bones, my brain, or even my lungs. And so, check yourself, ladies, please. If you get anything from this video, check yourself. Be your own advocate. Speak up for yourself. If something doesn't feel right, if something isn't right, talk about it. Be about it. Save yourself. Save yourself. That sounded so terrible. Talk about it. Be about it. Be your own advocate. Check yourself, ladies. As always, if you have not done so already, do us that favor and click that subscribe button underneath and ding the bell. I know y'all just heard the bell. Ding the bell over to the side so that you get all notifications when we post our videos. As always, until next time, peace.